I was going to put on a suit and tie to do this. After all, if you're speaking about business, and especially if you're intending on going through the next 365 days, well, 400 if we start from today, and make $1,000,000, then surely you need to actually wear a suit and tie. You need to look the part of a millionaire. It was explained to me by my loving partner that it was best if I actually speak to you as me. Some people may react favourably, some people may not react so favourably. But who am I? What makes me think that I can end up go from $2,000 in my bank account, which is what I'm going to start with in that bank account, to a turnover in excess of $1,000,000 over the next 365 days. Over the years, I have done things that are, let's start at the beginning. As a kid, I pretty well grew up with most situations, or at least I should say at the beginning, I had the normal family. A mum, dad, sister. We were doing it tough. We lived in a mining town, and my dad was always pointing out that miners are, in nature, pretty well broke. What are some of my first memories as a child? Well, I was always looking for money because we were broke. We were definitely on the wrong side. We were always looking after everybody else in town because that's how we got taught. We look after everyone else and we go without ourselves. That is what a blue-collar worker does. Having difficulties with speech in my earlier years up till, well, some would argue right through to my adult years. But up till the age of 6, I was not talking. I pretty well refused to, and everything that I did say, if I did say anything at all, was completely convoluted. They believed that my hearing may be wrong. They believed that I may have mental issues. Later in life, we discovered I did have Asperger's, but back then we didn't know that Asperger's was a thing. So, I was belted daily because I didn't fit in. I was belted because I didn't actually use my words. So, I would often receive 2 or 3, sometimes more beltings a day. But it taught me that you need to look after, if you're going to actually have something for yourself, you need to actually earn it. So my first career, if you like, was going collecting bottles. Back then, for a Coke bottle or a Fanta bottle, you would get 5 cents each for the small ones and 10 cents each for the large ones. I actually think they went up to 20 cents at one stage, but finding the larger ones was near impossible. So I would go and dig around the back of pubs, underneath halls and all the rest of it to try and find any bottles that I could actually locate. One particular day I found a whole heap of bottles that were tucked in behind the milk bar, and I thought, fantastic. So I'd actually gather as many in my arms as I could. I'd go to the front of the milk bar, and that guy would end up give me, I think from memory I was getting about $1, $2 each armful. I was over the moon until he kicked me up the arse because of the fact that, well, the bottles I was taking around to the front of the shop were the bottles he was actually putting around the back of the shop. Great business idea though. It does teach you that if you can find a recurring source of income that's legal, it's a great way to actually make some good money. So, at the age of about 4, my mum was diagnosed with cancer. She died when I was about 11, and we moved from this small country town, mining town, into the big city. Moved states, moved schools, moved everything, and I lost all my friends, everything that was comfortable to me. Keep in mind, as an Aspie, those items that are known to you become the items that are very important to you. So, moving into a city, I was completely lost. So, I tried to make the most of it. Went to school, got beaten up at school because I spoke differently. I didn't end up follow the national sport, well, Victorian sport at that stage. And I was thrown out of school. Sent to a special school that meets my specific needs. And I was bored out of my brain, so I skipped that school completely. So, with little in the way of education, what does one do? They go and end up see what they can do out on the street. So, my experience over that first year was that to make something of yourself, you either had to steal it or you had to scam it. Because every time I had anything that was in my pocket, somebody came along and stole it off me. They either beat me up or simply I was stupid enough to actually leave my wallet on a pinball machine, for instance, so they'd come along and steal it. So, why am I telling you this? I suppose because my background was one where I was treated poorly, and I could have gone either direction. I could have spent time in jail. I certainly did not expect that I'd ever end up spending much time at school. So I was really struggling to make head or tail out of life in general. I was at the bottom of the run. I certainly was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had an abusive dad that continued to be abusive, especially after Mum passed away. And I can remember when my dad ended up met a new lady, and he was absolutely enthralled by her, and she was also enthralled by me. So as far as that was concerned, she would take out her frustrations because of the fact that I wouldn't participate in her games. So I decided I was going to run away. I wrote my first book. It was How to Survive out in the bush. I gathered information from all sorts of sources and I collated it and made it specifically for me. I was discovered when I was running away, and I was very carefully monitored and forced to stay at home. So there went the idea of being able to go out and do something. I think I was about 15 at the time. I wrote my second book, as I was about to say, and showed it to one of my teachers. The teacher loved it so much that she kept it. So that taught me that anything that you actually do in life that's worthwhile, somebody will take it off you. It's a great way to start this talking about becoming a millionaire, isn't it? How does somebody who goes through school, skips school, goes through adult life, believes that they have any possibility of becoming a millionaire? Nothing in my adult life. Bounced around, worked in various jobs, welding, construction. I worked in factories. Every time I worked somewhere, they wanted to make me into a manager, so that showed that I had something going, but I just never fitted in. I returned to school. I studied community development, welfare, occupational health and safety, human resource management, all trying to understand how to fit in to a world that didn't make much sense as an Aspie. I finished my school and I started a business. That business I took from, well, in reality I had about $100 in cash, and in 12 months I took that through to $200,000. That's not too bad. My kids were on the scene at that stage, and their mum wanted to actually throw them out, so I stepped up and said, sorry, but I've been fighting for my kids for the last X amount of years. And she turned around after a while and said, yes, you can have them. So I took on on looking after my kids, and I put my business on hold. And while it was on hold, changes took place. Different people stepped into the market that I'd created. And when I was ready to return to that business, it no longer existed. So, well, I suppose it still existed. It's just that I was so far behind the 8 ball, I didn't think it was worthwhile. So I went back to working for an employer. But the thing I discovered was no matter how much money I made, every week I was broke. And I couldn't get past this. Then a few years ago, I made a observation, and that was that the people who actually made something of their life past just working for a living all had a different mindset. They looked for opportunity. They looked for the ability to be able to, well, to give back to society, true, but also the ability to bring luck, if you like. I don't know if luck's the right word, but it's a word that a lot of people use when they see people that have actually made $1 million. They say that, yep, you've been really lucky in your life. No, they've just acknowledged the possibility that life can be different, and they've started looking for those opportunities that make life different. So for the next 400 days, I'm going to try to teach you how to look past what is average and look for the possibility that opens doors that you never thought was possible. So I hope that you follow me. I hope that you look at 365 days 2021 and you end up over the next 400 days, and especially the 365 that I'm referring to, you follow that particular path and you start to see the opportunities that might be there for you. They're not going to be the same opportunities that I see. You're different. You are you, I am me. That is why I'm not going to wear a suit and tie. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity to see life differently. Anyway, I hope you follow me. I hope I get a few likes out of this. June next year, June 2021. And you can actually check up on me during the year and you can see how I'm actually tracking. But end of June 2021, I want to be able to show $1 million in my bank account. That's my goal. Thank you.